Half a day. Ah, we can still say buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
And how do you say good morning in Portuguese? Oh, we'll have to have you look that up. And I'll have it for you. It might be buenos dias also. Spanish and Portuguese are both Romance languages, and so they're going to be a little bit similar. So we're starting, it's exciting. We're going to start today our new unit. So what's our unit today?
South America.
Yes, South America. And we've got the big map for use the first time. I like to stick with the big map so we can show the relationships to the other places in the world. And in defining this realm, fairly simple. How do we define South America? The landmass, which is visible from space. It's a unique shape, and it is tied by an isthmus to North America. And we can see the currents, the water currents here, which I'll get back to that in a minute when we talk about weather and some of the effects. We can see that it is on the other side of the Pacific Rim from us here in the Marianas, right at the Marianas Trench, pretty much, which is very visible from space in certain kinds of maps showing depth. And we're located right around here. So since the map is flat and had to be cut, we have to go all the way to the other side. And this is the other side of the Pacific Rim. So we have the edge of the Pacific Plate right here. So what are we going to find, especially right here, that is very similar to other places in the Pac Rim as far as environmental issues? Volcanoes, earthquakes, mudslides, and we were thinking we were just talking about typhoons. So we know that here it would be called hurricanes, but indeed the hurricane path is to go that way because it comes in as typhoons here. And actually it comes this way too. You can see those currents. Often the water currents and the air currents, the upper level air currents, they're all tied together. So this is the path of the hurricanes. And we have something different going on right here, which is the Humboldt Current, which comes in right here, and it's a very cold current. You can see the green colors. And so this is some of the best fishing in the world off this coast because we have those cold currents coming in with the upwelling of nutrients for fish. So those would, and don't forget the equator is here. So this is going to be tropical. And as you drive south, look how long it is. So as you drive south, does it get warmer or colder?
Colder.
Colder. And then this is tropical there. Now it will be a little drier on the high plateaus. You can see there's some high plateaus, and you can see there's basins, river basins. So always the rivers, they flow towards the sea from the high places. So they're going to come from the mountains and the high plateaus, and they're going to flow towards the sea. We have some huge river basins. So what is the most famous one we have right here? The Amazon. And we were earlier talking about a movie that was inspired by the people that live here, and that is Avatar. The Na'vi are actually inspired by the people of the Amazon forest, which live very lightly and very connected to the land. They're still Amazonian peoples, yet the forest is being taken down at quite a rapid rate. We're going to talk a lot more about deforestation in the Amazon and what's driving it. But for now, we'll note that there are Amazonian people here. What is the other indigenous culture here? The Inca. And what country is that centered on? Peru, good. Yeah, so, and there are other tribes too, the Aymara. And we have a special name for the high areas where the native people live called altiplanos, good. And that would be these high, they're almost like little nests way up high where native people live. It's cooler. up in the high mountains. So this is where the native populations are, along with some people living in the Amazon. And there were nomadic routes that traversed. So all of this went on before the colonial powers came sailing in. Now, early on, we did have a famous explorer that sailed around called Magellan. And after Magellan, we had the first, he's often called the first geographer, von Humboldt, which he actually explored some places, taking down the flora, the fauna, and mapping. And then the explorer, the Spanish explorer, is Pizarro. And we also had Portuguese. So Portuguese settled on the east side, the Spanish on the west side. And do you remember the date of the Tordesillas Treaty? 1494. Very good. So that's a good date to remember because it was a line that went about like this, but we know that Brazil is a lot bigger. And so we know that because of the Amazon, the actual shape of Brazil got bent inward because there really weren't people flying overhead to be able to see exactly where that treaty went. So upon independence in the 1800s, there are 9 entities here. There's the Guianas up here, 10, 11, 12. One more, Brazil makes 13. And we'll go over those in more detail later, along with the cities that we'll select to go over, as well as the regions. I believe 4 regions.